I think we need to have a MAGA team meeting here. So if you're not interested in the America First agenda, roast you next time. Keep rolling. Everybody's right to question the Epstein situation. It's been mishandled, but it's 100% a testament to the MAGA movement that when we get loud, we get really loud, and we hold our leaders accountable. We're not liberals, we're better than that. And it's because of this that high-powered individuals start to listen. So after about a week or so of pushing back against the administration and calling BS about this memo, they've come out and said that now they're going to focus on this situation. Well done, Patriots. But here's the thing. We need to keep a level head. We need to stay rational. Now, I've been noticing a couple of things from major influencers that they've gotten wrong, and it's mostly context, so I'm going to try to provide that context. Now, first up here is going to be Benny. You're a great guy, I love to watch you, but you've gotten something wrong and you've been hammering on it for a few days now.
All over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, Epstein, over and over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, Crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and losers and criminals in the Biden administration who conned the world with the Russia hoax, 51 intel agents and laptop from hell? They created the Epstein files, just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton, Christopher Steele dossier. Why didn't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein files? If there was anything in there that could have hurt the MAGA movement, why didn't they use it? So President Trump has acknowledged that the Epstein files exist here. President Trump has acknowledged that the files were written and that there is something there. He says that they were written, however, by his enemies and therefore will not be released, while admitting that the Epstein files are real.
So you've been saying for days now that in Trump's post, he acknowledges that the files are real, but he actually doesn't. Take one step back and look at the context. Think of it like in Trump talk, like it's fake news. What he said or really meant to say was like the story of the files, just kind of like the story of the Russia hoax or the story of how Hunter Biden's laptop wasn't real, you know what I mean? He didn't actually acknowledge that they were real, that it was more of like not really a hoax, but like a malicious narrative. Trump really was saying in essence like, there are no files or they've been blown out of proportion. He didn't mean to acknowledge their existence, so stop it, but I love your channel. Now Matthew, the puppy lover, that's just for in case he ever sees this, just to let him know that I actually do tune in. Man, I love what you do, I love what you have to say, but you've missed the mark on a key point too.
Here, take a look. If you don't believe me, right here. And I quote, "This systematic review revealed no incriminating client list." Why do you think they included that keyword? Why do you think they included that keyword? Not no client list. There's no incriminating client list. It's because there is a client list, and that there is no, quote, incriminating client list. Not that there is not a client list, but that there is no incriminating client list.
So again, you've been drilling this point for days now that there's no incriminating client list, putting that emphasis on incriminating, but it's not the main word, it's more of a passing word. Again, context. So read this one kind of like a news reporter would say it. So like there's no da-da-da-da and no da-da-da and no incriminating client list. Like it's not the main word. It's saying there is no list. Point blank, that's what it means. You've got to pay attention to those subtle nuances you're overlooking. Again, I love your stuff, man. You're doing great, but read the fine print. And last but not least, JD Delay.
Now, normally when somebody is obviously trying to hide somebody, it makes me think, what is this person trying to hide? But I don't even really think that we have to wonder about that because this situation is pretty self-explanatory. I think it's pretty clear and obvious what's going on with him. And there are still people out there who have literally got themselves convinced that this is all just part of the plan, that he's playing some sort of 5D checkers and everyone else is just out here playing chess. While I was never good at gymnastics, mental or physical, I know that I've been yelling release the list and I still want that, but there's one person that I don't have to wonder if they're on it or not anymore.
So you've been on one for a few days too, saying that Trump must be a P3DO because he hasn't released the list and is defending the narrative. I get it, man. I understand what you're doing here. You're trying to create a need to disprove you, and that will force the right people to give us answers. You're right to throw it that nothing's been provided, but there's 101 reasons why Trump's not on that list. And don't get me wrong, anything's possible, but here's just a few reasons why he's just not. Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago and was never seen with him again. Trump provided information that partially led to the prosecution, the only prosecution that could make trafficking charges stick against Jeffrey Epstein. Trump was the one that popularized Epstein's island in the first place and put it in the public eye. When somebody asked a question about Bill Clinton, Trump brought up Epstein.
Bill Clinton.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island
with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems.
Trump was the first one to out Prince Andrew.
You raised the question of Jeffrey Epstein in your remarks about in the Q&A.
Well, I think he's got a problem. I mean,
what do you think the problem will be?
I don't know, but that island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew. He'll tell you about it. The island was an absolute cesspool.
After the story got buried, it was Trump's first administration that dug it back up and drove it to prosecution. And probably the biggest indicator that Trump had no part in any nefariousness by Epstein was that he's probably the best vetted candidate in history. Not only did they dig up every single possible thing they could about him, but he was also the subject of 10 deep state hoaxes? If anybody had anything at all on Trump, it would have been released in a second. I have not a single doubt in my mind. Now, I know that going after predators is kind of your thing, but I'm just gonna say it, man. You're way too close to this. It's like if you present the same medical problem to a cardiologist and a neurologist, heart doctor's gonna see heart, brain doctor's gonna see brain, P3DO hunter's gonna see P3DO. You have to realize you're doing unnecessary damage to an otherwise flawless administration. All three of you guys, I hold in high regard for the work that you do, but the reason I'm doing this is to say that we all need to keep a level head and to keep our context right, because this is a bad time to get it wrong. Because realize you can influence elections, so be careful what you say to hundreds of thousands of people daily. Personally, I think if anything, they're covering for information that would make the world burn. Now, some would say, let it burn, that information needs to be released and people need to go to prison. And to those people, I say, I'm with you. And others might say, I understand if there's too much at stake with some information we're not privy to that could lead to catastrophe, and that's the reason they're covering for this. And to those people I say, I'm with you too. They would have been much better off if they had just walked out on stage and said, look, there's legitimately too much going on here that I can't let you know about, and I simply cannot release this. They would have had more credibility. Bottom line, MAGA, hold the line. We've come too far, and this country as a whole is in too good of shape for us to falter now. Some would want to watch this country burn, and I'll point them out right alongside you every step of the way. Because liberal, if you like what I do, please leave a like. They really help. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.